Lake of Kalandra draws nearer with every passing day. While we know little about Kalandra and what we think she's responsible for, there's plenty we can speculate about on the topic of the entity herself. Is she a god? Is she a simple mortal? Is she a location? Or is Kalandra something far more sinister and commonplace in the vast sphere of Path of Exile foes? 3.17 added more of these brand of antagonist. PoE 3.19 may do the same. Greetings and well met, this is Talkative Try. Today we're discussing who or what Kalandra might be, particularly 4 ideas I've compiled and a few ideas I've seen in the community and on part 1 of this 2-part series on Kalandra. Ready for some speculation, fellow exile? In the grand narrative of Path of Exile, there's a clear hierarchy of power when it comes to individuals. We have normal humans, people like Bestel, and most of the other non-us exiles in Rayclast. Then we have monsters like undead, beasts, and constructs. After that, there are those who wield magic well, usually called thaumaturgists, dastardly folk such as Malachi and Malagaro. The class above that is reserved by gods, entities of incredible might akin to Sin, Innocence, and Tang Mazu. Finally, there are eldritch beings, denizens of the realms beyond Rayclast like the Eater of Worlds, the Searing Exarch, the Maven, and the Elder. Some humans, like the Shaper, the Conquerors of the Atlas, and, of course, us, are able to compete with these eldritch beings, but they're obviously on another level of strength. Given that Kalandra is supposedly an awfully powerful creature shrouded in mystery, the odds of her being one of these eldritch beings are high. The gods might have much control over Rayclast itself, but the eldritch beings seem to have influence on many worlds at once, including Rayclast and the planes comprising the Atlas of Worlds. If Kalandra is responsible for Rayclast's many slightly altered mirror realities, well, she's probably an interferer from beyond, more Maven than Arakali or Kitava. Her home domain is some far-flung water world, which us simple exiles will call the Lake of Kalandra. Alright, maybe she's not an eldritch being, but a god. If that's the case, she's far above the power level of the cruel Val gods, the furious Karui gods, and the pantheon of Oriathan gods. Mysterious and powerful, omniscient and omnipotent, a watchful eye on every version of Rayclast, those plagued by the Scourge, and those fortunate enough to escape their wrath. She's outside the domain of Rayclast, not just by choice, but by consequence, for I theorize she might be the one and true god and creator of Rayclast. Kalandra is above all. Like many people believed with Earth, Rayclast may have once been a land where only one god was thought to exist, a benign creator who made the waters and trees and lives of the planet. This is rather likely, as almost all the gods we know of began not as gods, but as mere mortals who ascended to walk amongst other ascended gods. The first of these ascendants rose to the level of the only god of the time, the first god, Kalandra. Or, hear me out, Kalandra is not an eldritch being who serves a greater force as the Elder does with decay, and she's not the one and true god of the world Rayclast sits upon. She is, as we are, human. Rather, a human who has risen to the level of power many exiles do during the course of a normal Path of Exile league. And wouldn't that be kind of perfect? In Path of Exile, whether they realize it or not, many players in any given league strive to be the best, to be the strongest possible individual in Rayclast. They collect powerful items, many of them uniques, in their journey to become the apex exile. What if, since PoE's inception, there's always been a top human, a top crafter, a master of items, someone who is the source of all the outstanding items we loot from monsters across the verse? Her name? Kalandra. As the top crafter in Rayclast, she's had access to a variety of affixes unavailable to regular folk. Headhunter's ability to absorb rare monster modifiers, Mageblood's incredible flask quality of life affix, the all-or-nothing edginess of Paradoxica. Other exiles have attempted this sort of crafting before, as seen with the replica uniques in Heist. The researchers there attempted to mimic Kalandra's method of unique crafting, but ultimately failed. New items they created, but nothing ever truly unique, nothing ever truly perfect. From her mystical lake is where she does all this crafting, using methods unavailable to even the best thaumaturgists like Malachi and Doriani. And in 3.19, someone, maybe us, has finally found the Lake of Kalandra. In 3.19, maybe we'll have access to this lake, and therefore a pool of affixes previously unavailable for use in crafting. Or this may be a bit of cheeky speculation, but what if GGG has, for the entirety of Path of Exile's existence, been pulling a fast one on us regarding Kalandra? Very early art of the Mirror of Kalandra features a feminine form atop it, and in lore discussions with the community, GGG employees have referred to Kalandra as she. That's all. That's all we have to go on for who or what Kalandra is besides her mirror. With Lake of Kalandra coming imminently, what if we're about to learn that Kalandra isn't any entity, but a place? Not just any place, it's a lake. Kalandra is the name of the lake, and we're visiting it in PoE 3.19. End of theory. Before we conclude the video, let's take a glance at a few of your ideas posted on the first part of this brief series. Dr. Enzyme said, quote, "It's further supported by the Last to Die that there are multiple versions of Rayclast, and she definitely had some way of traveling between them." Very true, and I am so utterly disappointed that Last to Die is no longer in Path of Exile and hope she returns one day. Maybe it's one of the 3 leagues that's being added / reworked in this expansion, but if it's not, hopefully Kalandra will give us a little bit of a glimpse into the alternate or mirror realities of Rayclast. Erman said, "Just throwing an idea into the wind, lake waters are reflective, like a mirror. What if Kalandra isn't a who, but a where? The original unique items were copied by the lake's waters. Maybe another civilization that is hidden and unspoken of. Just thinking outside the box." Erman, I totally agree. I think we may discover, as I stated previously in the video, that Kalandra isn't an entity, but a place, and it's a lake, and we'll be using it to craft in the expansion. So I kind of agree with you there. Nice theorization. Alright, Slouch said, "I was absolutely shocked to see the title of this upcoming league. GGG has been so tight-lipped about Kalandra up to this point that I would have expected any new information to come out either in the last league before Path of Exile 2, or only after the game had died, player base-wise, both as final hurrahs or something. Unfortunately, my standards for the lore this league are now astoundingly high. I hope they do a good job and make the years of waiting worth it somehow." Yeah, this league better be far different than that of Sentinel League and Arch Nemesis League, something more along the lines of Expedition or Heist. I hope there's a lot of lore built into this, even bigger, honestly, than Siege of the Atlas, because Siege of the Atlas didn't add that much lore. Yes, it added the new endgame bosses. Yes, it added some lore to Kirak and a few other NPCs in the Karui Shores. That's about it. I hope there's a dump as large as Heist or Expedition. I really do. Alright, Axel Tusignant said, Wait. If the world we play in is indeed not real, then is this going to be the reveal of the reality? Is this the release of PoE 2, second playthrough release, even though everyone think it's not going to happen until next year or so? Are they going to reveal PoE 2 before we could have thought this could happen? I don't want to be hyped for this stuff, but I am really thinking something big is coming this patch, and it is likely not PoE 2, but I swear, something feels off right now. There is definitely something that's going to shake PoE this patch. Imagine if they slash the 3.19 logo, then change it to PoE 2 in the middle of the reveal. That would be phenomenal, but it's also fantasy. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, go ahead and like the video, subscribe with the sub notification bell on for more content, and drop a comment below. What are your thoughts on what might be upcoming in Lake of Kalandra, and who or what do you think Kalandra is? Let me know. Farewell until the next video, fellow exile.